In case you missed it, here is a quick recap of Canon's live event that was held earlier this morning. They officially announced two cameras we have all been waiting for: the Canon R1 and the Canon R5 Mark II. These releases are huge and the expectations on Canon's shoulders are immense. So let's dive into what makes these cameras so special. Before we get into all the details though, let me know down in the comments, which camera are you excited for? The Canon R1 is absolutely made for true photojournalists and sports photographers. It's for the pros. This is the flagship camera, like any 1 series camera, that features Canon's latest and greatest technology. The features of the Canon R1 are a disappointing 24.2 megapixel full frame back illuminated stacked CMOS sensor. I was really hoping for a much higher megapixel count on this, but it does make sense when you consider the readout speed of the Canon R1 with 40 frames per second, and also it has incredible low light capabilities. So the 24.2 megapixels does make sense in that case. It provides low light sensitivity for up to ISO 100,000 ISO, high speed shooting up to 40 14-bit raw photos per second. And it also has pre-recording capabilities. Not really a feature that I'm incredibly excited about, to be honest, but I think it is going to come in handy in some cases. I was wondering how a pre-recording for photo and video, for that fact, would be initiated or would be like started, and it's the half press. So instead of fully pressing down on the shutter, you're going to be able to start the pre-record with the half press, which kind of makes sense. I was wondering how it was going to be able to do that, but I get it now that the half press will start pre-recording and pre-shooting a couple of frames before you actually fully press the shutter. The R1 is going to be able to capture 20 shots before pressing the shutter fully in, engaging it. It also has a Digic accelerator, which is just something that's going to help the Digic X processor. It's going to have enhanced precision and speed in autofocus and image processing as well. The autofocus, I'm really excited for the autofocus for both of these cameras. The R1 is going to feature a dual pixel intelligent autofocus with eye control, and it's also going to have register people priority, which is absolutely insane to me. So what this is say that you're at a event, or we'll just use LeBron James as an example. You're at a basketball game. You can take a picture of LeBron James, set him as the priority, so that the autofocus, when he's in frame, will ignore everybody else in the frame, but will keep LeBron James in the actual autofocus spot, and it'll track him when he's in the frame of the sensor, which is mind-blowing. So imagine you go to your child's soccer game or an event that has somebody that you're really trying to cover. Take a picture of them first, set them as the person priority, and then the camera will intelligently track that person inside of the frame as they move. And the other thing it's going to have is a eye control autofocus. So when you're looking through the viewfinder, the autofocus, or the system, is going to be tracking your eye movements as you move from person to person, and it's going to be able to track onto the nearest subject that's in the little target range. Another phenomenal feature. I can't understand how they're doing this, but it's going to be available to us in the R1, and more importantly in the R5, which I think is going to be insane. The network capabilities for the R1, it's going to have a built-in Wi-Fi 6E and a 2.5 gig Ethernet port, so that you'll be able to transfer files almost instantly via a Ethernet port. It's also going to have in-camera upscaling and noise reduction, meaning that you can take your photo from 24 megapixels all the way up to 96 megapixels in camera. That's going to be a really cool feature to be able to do on the fly. The Canon R5 had something similar with the 45 going all the way up to, I think it was 400 megapixels if I recall correctly, but the tech was a little it wasn't there just yet, so I'm hoping that the R1 has something that is a little bit more advanced. The Canon R1 is going to be receiving, like the R5 Mark II, Canon Log 2, but the R1 is going to have live zebra patterns, false colors, and you're going to be able to have custom LUTs. It's also going to feature dual media recording, capturing 17 megapixel JPEGs at 8.3 frames per second while you're recording full HD video. It also has 24-bit 4-channel audio capture, so you're going to be able to improve the way that you capture audio. It'd be very cool if you can get 32-bit float. That would be insane, right? Now for the camera that I am more excited about, that's the Canon R5 Mark II. I think this camera is going to sell like crazy. This camera will definitely be unstoppable and a favorite for everybody. It will have a lot of the same features of the R1, but it's going to be priced super aggressively. The Canon R5 Mark II is going to have a whopping 45 megapixel full frame back illuminated stacked CMOS sensor. It's going to offer an ISO sensitivity of up to 51,200 ISO, high speed continuous shooting at 30 frames per second. Again, a little nerfed compared to the R1, but that's as expected, right? It's going to be able to record 15 RAW or JPEG images before shooting, very similar to the R1. What I'm really excited about is the autofocus system in the R5 Mark II. It's going to have the intelligent AF, the action priority, eye control, and it's also going to have the register people priority. It'll have in-camera upscaling for noise reduction, and it'll upscale JPEG images up to 179 megapixels from 45 up to 179. It will have more advanced wireless connectivity for the Wi-Fi, and you'll be able to have a battery grip that has a optional Ethernet port. The advanced autofocus system, this is what I'm really excited about. It's going to include the dual pixel intelligent autofocus, action priority, and eye control. Now, action priority is essentially going to be, if you can imagine a person standing in alone, that autofocus has no problem tracking onto that person, right? But as soon as you start putting people that are moving in and out of the frame, walking past or walking the other way, forwards and backwards, sometimes the autofocus will jump to different people. The action priority will allow you to be able to stay fixed on that one person, even if people are coming in front and in and out of the frame, up, down, subjects are going to be moving, which is fantastic, right? The eye control autofocus is what I'm really excited about. That is going to be able to, when you put your eye through the viewfinder, the camera is going to be able to tell where your eye is looking and then set up a little tracker that is going to be in relation to another subject. So if you're close to a subject here, it'll automatically lock onto that person's eye. And if there's a person here, and the little ball moves over to this area, it'll automatically latch onto this person over here based off of your own eye movement. So imagine a person running in a race and you're looking at the one that's leading, but all of a sudden you switch to the guy in second or third, it'll automatically detect that your eye is moving to look at that person and lock on to whatever you're looking at. Unbelievable. The R5 Mark II is also going to have register people priority, which is what I mentioned earlier, that say that you're at your child's soccer game, you take a picture of them in action and set them as the priority, and while other children are running around or other people are coming to frame, it'll stay tacked onto that person because you set them as the person priority. Unbelievable, phenomenal. So it's my understanding that there's going to be 3 new battery grips that are going to be released with the Canon R5 Mark II. One of them is going to be a standard battery grip, is my understanding, and the second one is going to be a one that has a connectivity with an Ethernet port so that you can instantly transfer photos over to a person that's receiving them. And then the third one, which I'm the most excited about, is going to be one that has a fan at the bottom of it that's going to be able to suck in air and then pull out air at the exact same time, keeping the body of the camera cooler for longer, increasing your record times and being able to record at higher resolutions for a longer time. That one right there, I think, is going to be monumental. All of them will be sold separately as well, but I think they're going to be ranging from the $400 all the way up to the $500 range, depending on the version of the grip that you actually get. One thing that I do have to note is that Canon is going to be releasing brand new batteries. The old batteries will work, like the ones that we all have, the LPE6, I think they're called. Yeah, these are the LPE6NH batteries. These are the latest ones, but now there's a new one, LPE6P. Now those ones, like I said, these batteries will work in the new camera, but like these ones, when these ones were released, they worked on older cameras and they worked on these cameras, but when you use these cameras, it unlocked other capabilities and features. The new ones, the LPE6P batteries, are also only going to be will be used in both cameras or in older cameras, but in the new cameras you'll be able to unlock basically the more advanced features. And the LPE6P batteries, the new ones, will only work in the new types of battery grips, which is a real shame, but they're going to be priced at the exact same price point as they were before. The only downside of that is that we may have a lot of LPE6 batteries laying around from previous cameras that we own. And again, we will be able to use them, but we won't be able to have the unlocked features or advanced features in the new and improved gear that requires the LPE6EP batteries to be released or to be used in. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. Let me know down in the comments if that's a little confusing. It's a little upsetting, but I get it. It's just the way that they are. The R5 Mark II is going to capture 8K at 60p internally and also 4K SR video. The R5 is going to have Canon C-Log 2, which is going to be a really big deal to a lot of cinematographers and filmmakers out there, because C-Log 2 was previously only used and reserved for the cinema line of cameras. Now, I don't know much about the Canon log between Canon Log 3 and Canon Log 2. If you happen to know, let us know down in the comments below. I just know that Canon Log 2 is more desired and it's only available on cinema cameras because it gives you more flexibility and dynamic range or something along those lines. And something that is kind of crazy that I don't know why I didn't have it before, both cameras are going to feature a tally light so that your talent will be able to know if you're recording or not. It sounds so silly. Other cameras have had it for a very long time, but now they're including the tally light on the new R5 and the R1. So currently B&H has the EOS R1 on pre-order for $62.99 with an estimated ship date of November of this year. The R5 on B&H, the R5 Mark II on B&H is going to be available for $42.99 with an estimated ship date of August. Now, I am incredibly surprised with those price points because I thought that the R1 was going to be somewhere in the $7,000 to $8,000 range, and that the R5 Mark II was going to be close to $5,000. So I am pleasantly surprised that the R5 Mark II is going to be $4,300, which I think is very close to what the original price of the R5 Mark I was upon release, if not maybe a minus $100 or something like that. Absolutely amazing that they were able to hit this price mark. I can tell you with absolute certainty that I'm absolutely looking forward to the EOS R5 Mark II. The R1 looks amazing, but I don't think that I'm there yet. Let me know down in the comments which camera is the one that you're the most excited for. That's going to wrap up this recap video of the live event. I hope that you found it entertaining and informative at the same time. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to this channel where I use nothing but Canon cameras. And sometimes if I get my hands on a different kind of camera brand, then I'll shoot that as well. So if that's something that you're into, hit the subscribe button down below. Adios.